In this video, I played a marathon match against the world number 879 in the first round of qualifying here in Antalya at the 15k tournaments that I'm playing. This match had ups, downs, and some very long rallies, so make sure you watch the whole video to find out how it went. On this day, I was 5th on, so I knew I had a pretty relaxed morning. I got up around 8:30, 9 o'clock, had a nice and relaxed breakfast, usually having the same stuff, some bread, some eggs, and then also some fruit. The venue was split between the hotel and the tennis academy. I was playing at the tennis academy, but I was warming up here at the hotel. I was actually warming up with Popperin. Now, not the Popperin that you've seen me play with on the channel before. His younger brother, Anthony, who was also playing some futures tournaments at the time. We actually signed in for doubles in the first week, but unfortunately didn't get in. But here are a few clips of us hitting some balls in the morning of my match. There are always 2 or 3 things that I like to focus on. Now, these practice courts in Antalya, like you've seen in my doubles video with Simon, if you haven't already, I'll leave a link to it in the description. These practice courts weren't great. There were a lot of dodgy bounces, which meant that you really had to adjust and move around as much as possible to make sure that you were timing it well. Something I like to do in the morning of the matches is really build up to a match tempo, so over the first 5 to 10 minutes, really ramp up the intensity and end up hitting as I would in a match, moving around, striking the ball early, because, you know, that's essentially what the warm-up is to prepare you for, is to feel how you're going to feel in the match. Some players do it differently. Some players like to just relax and strike balls, but that's really what works for me. And I obviously like to go through the motions of hitting forehands, backhands, volleys, smashes, and serves and returns, because I think everything is just as important on both wings.
So on court, about 11 o'clock, I'm playing 4th on, so probably more around 2. Mainly just getting in the ground strokes, extended warm-up, hit some serves. Not trying to go too crazy because I know I might have a long match in the heat, which I'm not really used to, so just trying to keep it easy.
After that hit, we made our way to the tennis academy, where there was a very, very long wait, because on the court before us, there were 2 girls who were playing a marathon of a match. So as you can see here, me and Lucian doing kind of a second warm-up, working on our hand-to-eye coordination and reaction skills, basically just to keep me entertained and to keep me kind of warm before the beginning of my match, because it was quite a while to wait before I went on.
So guys, I'm at the club right now. I'm next match on. The draw this week's very, very strong. So I only just got in, as I'm literally the lowest ranked person in the whole of the qualifying draw. I'm playing a seed from Japan in this first match. I think he's well inside top 900 in the world, so it'll be a very good test. I think I performed very well last week, getting a win against my first ATP ranked player, so that's given me a lot of confidence.
Also guys, only this percentage of you that watched last week's video are actually subscribed. So if you haven't already, it's the best way to support the channel, and also it means a lot to me if you go down there, check if you're subscribed. If you are, great. If you haven't, click that subscribe button. And now, let's jump back into the video. Right guys, so when I tell you this match was a grind, it was an absolute grind. I go down 40-15, 2 break points very, very early on in this match. Have to dig myself out of a hole pretty early on. I do that by trying to come forwards and be aggressive, come to the net, a little bit of serve and volley right at the beginning. My opponent, as you can see, is slightly smaller in stature, but he was amazing at defense. He was really able to run around the court, and this guy did not miss a ball. He was super consistent off both wings, forehand and backhand side. He got great depth and shape, which really allowed me, or didn't allow me, to put any pressure on him really from my forehand side. Now, I told you before the match that I really wanted to be working on building my way into the match, especially in the first 4 games. This is something I've talked on with Ashley, especially because I went 5-love down in the first match that I played last week. This was definitely something that I wanted to focus on, to make a lot of balls in these first 4 games, really make sure that I found my rhythm on the court. I know my opponent's game style, and I know my game style, and I've managed to get him to juice in his first service game, so I was feeling confident. I was hitting my forehand and my backhand well. I was getting good shape on my forehand side, not yet necessarily trying to put too much damage onto his side, because I really felt like I wanted to get a lot of height and shape and really feel the ball before I start going for a little bit more margins. But as you can see, I'm moving him around the court pretty well, but he's keeping me back. I mean, on these clay courts, you'd be surprised, it's quite difficult to really attack that much, especially when you're playing a very good defensive player. You've got to kind of move them around, because these courts are super, super slow. And obviously from this camera angle, it doesn't show the whole picture, because it does look a lot slower than it is actually moving. So, some of the shots look like they're quite slow, but actually, it's moving very, very fast. But points like this, where it's game point to him very early on, I was just trying to dig out opportunities for myself. These juice points are super important to really do a dent or be able to go up very early on in this first set. So as you can see here, chipping, moving around, trying to give him some different variation. A lot of the time when I'm on the run, I'll, opt for the slice. Not only because, I'm off balance and it's tougher to hit a more kind of topspin shot, but also because it mixes up the rhythm. He's always used to kind of topspin, topspin, topspin. You mix in a slice. Maybe it doesn't even have to be a good slice. It can be a kind of junk ball into the middle of the court. Sometimes that's enough to kind of just ruin the rhythm and the momentum of your opponent. And, as you can see, these rallies are very, very long, 30, 40 seconds, lung-busting rallies. And I could tell from very early on that this was going to be a very physical match. Being my second week out here on the clay, I don't think I was super accustomed yet to moving and really having these long, grindy rallies. So the fitness, if I had to put it as compared to my opponent, I don't think it was as good as my opponent. So I kind of knew I have to try and be a little bit more aggressive than him. I have to try and find a way of moving him enough to kind of put him under pressure. But, very early on in this match, you can see it was an absolute grind. I was really trying to find a way of opening up some gaps to do some damage with my forehand. I was feeling pretty confident though. I was, feeling my game. I knew that this was a match that I could win. It was just whether I could maintain a focus for long enough and not get worn down by my opponent. He obviously played some very, very good tennis as well, being aggressive. It wasn't just like he's sitting at the back rolling in the ball. He does have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20 to 25 ATP points. So for playing him in the first round of qualifying is very tough. Just for you guys to understand, so I can explain to you briefly about the ITF system. The way it works is, in these 15k tournaments, you have to win 3 rounds of qualifying to make it to the main draw. Now, in the main draw is where the ATP points, you basically pick up ATP points. So if you win your first round in the main draw, you get 1 ATP point. So you have to win 4 matches against guys of this level, 800, 700 in the world, just to make it to main draw, to then play someone maybe 500, 600 for an ATP point. Now this week was abnormally strong compared to some other weeks, so it's not every single week like this. Some of the weeks you only have to maybe play players around 1500, 1600, but you still have to win 3 or 4 matches against players who are ATP ranked, if not guys like this with 25 ATP points, to just get your first point. So, it's not an easy road out here. There's a lot of players competing for ATP points, and of course some weeks are going to be very, very difficult like this, and some weeks you may get a good draw. But the main thing is just developing and improving my game so that I'm comfortable beating all levels of players, because the aim is of course to hopefully play Grand Slams and hopefully be at the highest level of tennis, in which of course you have to beat all of these guys. So I definitely think from a level development perspective, it's great to play these types of players and this level of player very early on in the tournament, because it really gives you a perspective of where you need to be, what your weaknesses are. And of course, guys like this who are 800, 900 in the world, who are very, very consistent, they have their built-in game style. And this guy was a baseline grinder, didn't miss, liked coming into the net a little bit to finish the point, but I definitely think that, I just got this early break up in this first set. I fancy my chances. I was really coming forwards. I was playing some good tennis. I got this opportunity here at 30-15. I really wanted to move him about the court and, make him play balls, basically. Some of the time it was very difficult because when you're really breathing, when you're moving, your decision making and your shot selection really goes out the window a little bit. And as you can see here, him getting me on the defense pretty early on, and just 1 or 2 balls where I'm dropping it slightly shorter, he's capitalizing on that and taking advantage straight away. So in hindsight, I've got to make sure that my balls are deep with spin to prevent him kind of breaking back there at 4-2, which is kind of a costly break, because I could have been up 5-3 in this first set. But nevertheless, I kept to it, really ripping that forehand as much as possible. I knew I could get it into kind of an uncomfortable zone for him because he was, a little bit shorter. So, he's going to try and play at above shoulder height, which is quite a difficult place to be, especially on the backhand side. Shots like that are really going to prevent him from really being able to attack, but he's still able to get the ball pretty deep and prevent me from attacking. I really felt that as much as I can get on that forehand as possible, the better. The one thing though that's quite dangerous when you play these types of opponents, obviously this player is a very, very high level, but you can kind of get lulled into a false sense of security in the sense that they're hitting the ball slightly softer, they're putting the ball with good shape and margin, but you don't want to take the risk to hit 5, 6, 7 shots near the line to win the point. But you also don't want to just rally, because this is what this guy does. He rallies, he makes loads and loads of balls. So it's kind of a situation where you've either got to take risk and try and win the point, or you just try and hope that he misses. And so some of the points, I think I was almost going with the wrong strategy of trying to outgrind him and look for the forehand. I definitely think I could have been more proactive in trying to set up some opportunities, really trying to get on my forehand as much as possible, like here, rip it down the line or rip it high to his backhand and try and come into the net and finish the point early. Because in hindsight, there's no way that I'm going to be able to play 2-3 hours of this tennis, whereas this player who does it week in, week out, with loads of ATP points to back it up, will probably be able to, and that's kind of a hindsight error in my part. But nevertheless, we're 4-3 here. That's all to worry about later on in this match. Those tactics, could have changed, but we've got a great opportunity here at 30-all, coming forward into the net, and a smash to put it away to give me a break point here, a crucial break point to go 5-3 up. Now he's put in a good shot there. I've sliced. That's pretty weak. He's come up, opened it up to my backhand. I've given him a smash. I've got the opportunity. It's just jammed me up there, and he ends up holding to go 4-all. Now those opportunities against these top players, you're not going to get many of them, so you've really got to make them count. And I guess I didn't make it count. Just got a bit jammed up on that smash. But this game here is, again, another important game at 4-all. You can see I'm trying to come forwards a little bit more. He's just managed to pass me a very, very good passing shot, and he ends up getting the break in that game. I definitely think that coming forwards was a strategy, and also me getting a little bit fatigued and not wanting to play that baseline game. But he was winning those points when I was coming to the net as well, so there wasn't really much I could really do about it. I felt I was playing some really, really good tennis. I was being consistent, getting good shape, moving around the court well, hitting winners. Of course, these are just the highlight points. Now this point at deuce, huge backhand cross there to give me a break point and savour my chances in this first set. A big opportunity. It's very, I have to break back here unless I want this set to go and slip away from me. And, he wasn't making it easy for me. I get this break point chance here at 5-4. Definitely trying to step into that backhand and cause a little bit of damage. He pulls it long, and I get the break here to go 5-all. And, I was super pumped after that. And now just trying to carry that momentum forwards. But it was break on break on break, as my opponent was just playing some really good tennis, moving me around the court, as much as possible. I was trying to step in and try and be aggressive, but the problem is, you have to hit like what there, 1, 2, 3 balls on the line here, and then the fourth ball is kind of a little bit average. Fifth ball really good, stepping up to it, crunching it dead down the line, and then I win the point. But you can see how many it takes to win 1 point on the clay, because these courts were super slow. Now 40-15 here on his own service game. He's got one of 2 set points here, and I remember this point I said to myself, just go for it and don't miss. Do not miss whatever you do. And as you can see here, bring out the Rafa Nadal angle there, opening it up the line. So 2, 3 really good shots, 4 ripping it up with the forehand. And at this point I was kind of a bit baffled. I wasn't sure what to do. I've hit 3 or 4 balls really close to the line with lots of height and shape. I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task, so I kind of said to myself, let's just keep trying to win the point, basically. Yeah, and this was probably one of the best points of the match. Then I saved that 1 set point, but can't save the second, unfortunately, and lose the first set 7-5. Now that first set lasted over 90 minutes, nearly 2 hours for that first set. The rallies were super long, 1 minute most of them, and yeah, it was just like a brick wall. I was really struggling to tactically find a way of convincing myself that I can win this match, because I'm definitely more physically tired out of the two. I was beginning to spray a few errors towards the end of the first set, and I knew that this second set wasn't going to get any better, and this guy was barely sweating, so I definitely felt like I had my work cut out. And I also didn't want to just slap the forehand and hopefully it goes in, because I'd have to make more than 60-70% of those shots to kind of make it count. And even this first point of the second set really sets the tone for how much of a battle this was going to be. Really trying everything in the book, drop shots, forehands, backhands. I even need a net cord, and I eventually can't quite get there. I definitely think that at this point as well, I was really trying to resort to just being aggressive. This was the one thing I had in my locker. At this point, I kind of knew that I definitely needed to work on my fitness to keep up with players like this, and his level just kept raising and raising and raising. He gets these breakpoint opportunities at the beginning of this second set. I'm really trying to
you know, find a way of coming in or doing something differently, which wasn't really working. So yeah, I think in hindsight, definitely, you know, should have maybe served and volley a little bit more. But you know, that's why this guy's kind of 700, 800, 900 in the world, and I'm not. So that's definitely something to work on, is the fitness. So 1-love down here in this second set. You can see I'm coming forward, really trying to put it away, but this guy will not. You just won't lose the point. Which was almost funny at the moment. I was laughing in between a lot of these points because I was really trying everything, and this guy was just getting everything, playing really, really good tennis. This chance here at 30-all was a key point, and he managed to wrong foot me there and go 2-love up in this set. Now this is the point kind of in the match where I know, look, Felix is beginning to slip away from you a little bit. You can't let him go 3-4 love up, because then there's no coming back. So you can see me here really trying to step on the front foot, really trying to rip the forehand and find a way of hanging on to this service game. I go 40-30 down here. Again, really trying to rip it with the forehand, really trying to, you know, make a difference in this second set and find the pump again. You know, once you've played loads and loads of points, you're exhausted, you're tired, you almost, you know, lose a little bit of that energy, and you can see him there putting that ball bang on the line and coming forwards, going 3-love up. But I hadn't lost the fight. I was willing to fight for everything. I remember telling myself, look, don't give up, really try and fight back in this one. And you can see my family on the side there, Lucian really supporting me in the second set. I end up breaking here at 3-1. I'm thinking, this is my opportunity, this is my chance. I'm really coming forwards now, I have a little bit of momentum behind me. This is the opportunity where I can take it to go 3-2. I'm back in this second set, I'm right back in it with him. And he hasn't got that mental clarity to be thinking, okay, I've got 3 or 4 games of breathing room. And you know, this game was clearly a pivotal game. I can't exactly remember what happened, so I'm watching it back with you guys here. But you can see I'm really hitting some great depth, mixing it up there with the slice. He's done the same. I've got the slice really, really deep there. Got to come in off this ball. I do. Straight to his backhand. Great point. Serving out wide. He's hit some very, very good depth on the return there and puts it away. Oh, I get there. And he then puts it away with a smash, as he should. He goes 40-30 up in this game, so I've given him a break point here. He was playing some very, very solid tennis. And as you can see, he's trying to target my backhand here, but I'm getting some very, very good depth. I was hitting my backhand very, very well in this match. I was super pleased with how I was playing, you know, backhand, forehand, how I was actually hitting the ball. This was a lot of tactical and physical. Now, most of the matches that I've played in the past haven't really been tactical and physical. They've been more, just missing basically, especially off the backhand wing, just trying to find the forehand. This one was an absolute chess match, and here at Juice, this is a key point. I was really willing to make balls in this point, try and find an opening to be aggressive on. I try and get the slice down low. That's an effective shot to make him try and hit up on the ball, mix it into what he's used to. And obviously, if you keep it low, you're going to get maybe one lucky bounce every now and again. But he was, you know, really staying low, being super solid, targeting my backhand, as you can see. And eventually, I reckon he's going to be able to pull the trigger at some point. But I switch it up to the forehand, try and get it onto my forehand, and just put the ball there in the net. I remember feeling like, oh, my heart was literally about to explode there. You know, with it being so physical. He gets a net call, comes forward there. I try and play the lob. It's not quite good enough. I get there again, and then again, and then he puts it up the line to break me there, to go 4-1, then 5-1. And yeah, at this point at 5-1 down, I'm really just playing to enjoy it. I'm playing to enjoy myself. I was actually really, really enjoying this match. It was probably one of the happiest matches that I've played. I was really happy and content with my level. Physically, I was totally destroyed, but overall, mentally, and you know, I was just really happy to be on court again post-op. I think that was the one thing that really stood out to me in this match was, you know, I'm able to play at this level with this player. I mean, on the day, hasn't really come out in my favour. But I was just really happy to be there and competing, and really, you know, in the heat in Turkey, really just being there. And, you know, overall it was a really great experience to kind of test my level. It's definitely not where I want it to be, definitely not where it needs to be if I want to try and get that first ATP point and go, you know, higher in the rankings, because obviously 1 ATP point's not the final target. You know, the aim's going to be to hopefully play Grand Slams in the future. But today wasn't my day. I played a very, very strong opponent, and this is what I had to say after the match. Right guys, so I'm back at the hotel now. Yeah, that was a frustrating match. You know, he just ground me down. I was struggling a little bit physically towards the end. I think Played a very good first set, didn't give him a lot of free points. The ones that he was winning, I made him hit a winner. Granted, I could have gone for a little bit more risk, but I really wanted to make him play. And that, I think, cost me a little bit. You know, I could have tried to hit it bigger, and towards the end of the match I did. I just, you know, more mistakes were creeping in, and I guess for my level and how I'm hitting it currently on the clay, I'd have to hit 5, 6, 7 really good quality balls in a row, which is super tough to do against an opponent with such good defense. So yeah, I'm gonna get in this cold water here. Right now, as a bit of recovery, I've done some stretching, and then I'm gonna take a watch of the footage with Ashley later. Try and figure out where I could have maybe improved. I think the first set was crucial. I think had I taken that match tie break, anything can happen. So, you know, lesson learnt next time. Try and take my opportunities when I got the break in the first and try and run away with it.
So that's of course it for this week, but make sure that you stay tuned because there'll be plenty more content coming out of here in Turkey over the next few weeks. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Backseat, don't give a hell paparazzi, baby. You know they always trying to get me.